I was plagued with chronic Lyme disease for 2 years before it was uncovered what was making me so sick. And once I found out what it was, then, that sense of hope that you get when it's like, oh, finally I know what's wrong with me and I'm going to get well, was quickly diminished when I, was then told, well, we don't really know what works because there's not really a cure and, everybody's body's different. And, some people don't believe you can fully eradicate Lyme from your body, but I do. And I did. I completely 100% healed myself from Lyme disease, hyperthyroidism, healed my gut. And so that's what led me down the road to becoming a nutritionist and a mindset expert, because you can't go through something like that and then when you overcome it, it not have taught you so much or it changed you, right? Hello, everyone. Janna here. Thank you for tuning in to Revive with Janna. Thank you all for helping me grow, for everyone who follows me on YouTube, and everyone who listens to my podcast and subscribes and downloads. I just want to say thank you. Keep sharing, keep downloading, and I will do my very best to keep delivering good content. I'm going to talk today about Lyme disease and how I reclaimed my life back after Lyme disease. Lyme disease was absolutely pure hell for me. If you've listened to my other episodes on it, or if you've read my book, my #1 bestseller, Unfuck Your Mind, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I was plagued with chronic Lyme disease for 2 years before it was uncovered what was making me so sick. And once I found out what it was, then, that sense of hope that you get when it's like, oh, finally I know what's wrong with me and I'm going to get well, was quickly diminished when I, was then told, well, we don't really know what works because there's not really a cure and, everybody's body's different. And, some people don't believe you can fully eradicate Lyme from your body, but I do. And I did. I completely 100% healed myself from Lyme disease, hyperthyroidism, healed my gut. And so that's what led me down the road to becoming a nutritionist and a mindset expert, because you can't go through something like that and then when you overcome it, it not have taught you so much or it changed you, right? And as I've shared in previous episodes, and I'm going to be recording an episode very soon about free will. So let's talk about that. Someone asked me once, well, you were meant to get over Lyme disease. Like you were meant to get well. You were lucky. 100% not. Let's get something straight. When you become an adult, you then have free will. And free will means there's always one or two choices, not 3, 4, or 5. There's only 2 choices. That's it. And I'm not saying in life with everything. I'm saying when it comes to adversity, when you have to choose to overcome, choose to believe, and this isn't just adversity, this is when it's taking a chance on yourself, right? Taking a risk, following your dreams, whatever it is, when it's a big decision that's going to impact your life in a huge way, there are only 2 choices. The first choice is to stay in the victim mindset, tell yourself why it won't work, why you won't get picked, why you'll always be sick, and then never do a damn thing about it. Therefore, guess what? You stay sick. You stay not chosen. You stay in mediocrity. Get it? The other choice is you say, fuck it, I'm tired of mediocrity. What's down this road? What's down that dark path that I don't know how to get through it? I don't know it's at the end of the road. I don't know if it's going to work, if it's going to help, but I know it's on this road. And the first road, the victim mindset road, is the same shit I've been doing, the same life I've been living, right? The other road, though, it's taking a chance. But my friends, that's what the universe wants to see is they want to see you take the risk. Believe in yourself. How can the universe bless you with more if you're not ready for it? So in life, every adversity, every painful season that comes your way, it wasn't by accident. It was on purpose, 100% on purpose. not to hurt you, not to ruin your life, not to make you sad, not because that's just how it is for you. That's the victim mindset thinking. It is because it is in that painful season, that moment, that adversity that you can learn, you can be groomed, you can be prepped to have what it is you need to have to fulfill your purpose. So Lyme disease was always, always in the writing for me from the second I was in my mother's womb. But whether I chose to believe I could get well or I chose to believe, well, it's just my life. They say I can never get well, so that's what I believe. I had to choose it. And if I would have chosen to believe the doctors or the naysayers or the people that believe you can't get well, I would not be right here, right now. I wouldn't have my third son, Broden. I wouldn't be a nutritionist. I wouldn't be a #1 best-selling author. I wouldn't be a speaker. I wouldn't be a podcaster. I wouldn't be a coach and helping others to feel their very best and how to heal. I wouldn't have the life I have now. You wouldn't know who the fuck I am. Because all of those things I said I wouldn't have and where I wouldn't be, they are only here. I am only living the life I'm living right now because I chose the other path, the second path, the path of the unknown. I was so fucking tired of feeling like shit and being sick that I said, you know what? What's down that road? Maybe I can get well. What if I believe that I can? Because nothing's changing believing that I can't. And so the moment that I chose that way, I began to get well. And, I was at rock bottom. I was at absolute rock bottom 2 years in, not knowing what the fuck was making me sick. And then I did. And then I tried all these different protocols, antibiotics, blah, 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 blah. I was sicker than ever before. It was 24/7, every second of the day, not 1 second of reprieve. My memory was gone. I could barely remember anything. I couldn't remember my address, how to get home, my children's names. And I looked in the mirror and I didn't even know who that person was. And in that moment that I almost took my own life, I was desperate. I was desperate. I was desperate to live, desperate to heal. I was also desperate to die. Janna, how can you say that? Because I was. Depression is real. Depression is no fucking joke. And people that say it's all in your head, go fuck yourself. Depression is not in your head. That is not a natural state. Depression is a state of your gut. And it's also a state of your emotions. But what happens is that when you get into this emotional state, you don't pull yourself out of it and you get in this rut and you go down that negative road, it affects how you eat. The stress affects your gut. And when your gut health is out of whack, your brain health is out of whack. And one of the many symptoms of Lyme disease is severe depression. And I had severe depression so bad and brain fog so bad, so intense. And brain fog is inflammation in your brain. Mine was so intense that that things didn't feel real, right? I had derealization where they just didn't feel like I was even fucking alive, and I didn't care what the consequences were at this particular moment where I almost took my own life. I thought of my 2 young children and I thought, God didn't put them on this earth to have this be the story of their mother. And so I said, fuck it. Fuck you, Lyme. You took over the wrong body. It's time to get the fuck out and go to hell where you have put me because I'm climbing out of this bitch. And I did. But it didn't just happen because I said, I believe I can get well. It happened because when I decided to believe differently, I began to do differently. And I've said this in other episodes. I say it in social media. If you follow me on Instagram, I say it all the time. I said it in my book, but it's no fucking joke. There was a turning point that day, and the universe is going to push you and push you and push you until you go, what the fuck? What do you want me to learn? Like, I can't take this anymore. And when you get to that place of desperation, which is where I was, you start looking, you start thinking because you're fucking tired of it. So you get so full of pressure and air. You just, what's going to happen when something gets full of pressure or air? If I fill that balloon up too much, it's going to fucking pop. And I popped, but I needed to pop because when I did, I pulled my head out of my ass. And though the brain fog was so severe, I had a moment of clarity where I realized I got to believe different. And I did. My inner warrior that I had inside of me that I didn't realize I had took over. And I was ready to live, and I tried many different protocols, but at this point, my state, my depression was so bad, the symptoms were so horrific. I just prayed I didn't wake up in the morning, and so that's where I was in my fight against Lyme disease. Right? Why wouldn't I care about the consequences? Right? Because guys, I didn't care. I either was going to start feeling better or I didn't want to live anymore. And so I'd already been studying essential oils. And one thing about Lyme disease is the Lyme bacteria, right? The Brelleberg diphori, it develops a biofilm around it, which makes it impossible almost for things to penetrate it. Like antibiotics cannot penetrate the biofilm. And they're little corkscrew shaped bacteria and they burrow themselves into your tissues, making it really hard to get them out, right? And then you got the biofilm, right? But essential oils penetrate your blood brain barrier. Essential oils don't kill the good guys in your gut. Essential oils boost your immune system. Essential oils break the biofilm around the bacteria. Essential oils kill Lyme disease. Lyme disease does not like certain essential oils like cinnamon bark oil, clove, tea tree, oregano, thyme. Doesn't like it. Now it's important to know, full disclosure, just because I'm listing those oils, don't go and just take them. You cannot take these and ingest them without a carrier oil in a capsule. What's a carrier oil? Olive oil. And you got to put a certain amount of drops because a little bit goes a very long way. There's a very particular method to it. That's why I don't really talk about this much in the sense of exactly what I did, because I first of all share it in my website, Revived by Janna. You can go and I have an article that I wrote about Lyme disease. I share it in my book. And I talk more about the protocol of what I personally took myself that killed the Lyme disease, what I did to eradicate it from my body, how I kept stimulating my lymphatic system to make sure I got rid of the bacteria as it died, and got myself well. So I'm not going to go into depth on that right here, but I do have it. If you look for it, it's there. But anyways, people are like, how do you know that's not going to kill you? You don't know what you're putting in your body. Well, this is the most natural thing God made, right? Aside from us was the essential oils, right? And they've been using them since began time. And so I did that very specific protocol, but I didn't give a shit what the consequences were, because if they worked and they killed the Lyme disease, I was getting better. If for some reason they killed me, I was going to be in a better place. Now, that's not how I think today, but you have to remember where I was and how sick I was. And for over 2 years of no reprieve, not even remembering what the fuck it felt like to feel good or feel human or to function. That's why I felt that way, right? And that's where I was against my fight against Lyme disease. Now, as I got well, I began to realize that pivotal moment I just shared of like, I don't want to live anymore and I'm about to take my own life, but just what if I believe I can get well? What if I try one more time for my kids? But this time I actually tried. This time I believe, and I'm not just desperate, doing whatever. Because, yeah, I was trying, but my mind wasn't trying. I was doing what the doctors had said to do, but my mind had already given the fuck up. It doesn't matter if you're doing the steps. If your mindset's not in alignment, my friends, well, you would still do the steps if your mindset was in aligned. No, because your approach is differently. Maybe you would have thought of something different. And here's, you believe it or not, but when you choose something different in your mindset and you choose to think different, the universe rewards you immediately by saying, okay, well, don't do any of this. It's not going to work. Let me open the door right here, because you chose to believe. You chose through free will to take the other path, the path of the unknown. Therefore, here's your reward and a sign to you that you made the right choice. You can think that's fucking bullshit or just woo woo, and I don't really care, because you thinking that and you thinking that's not true, that is the victim mindset. That's why you'll stay stuck. What do you have to lose when you just choose to fucking believe? What do you have to lose when you choose you? What do you have to lose when you choose to fucking live? Nothing. You don't have anything to lose except a life of mediocrity, except disease, except bullshit, except toxic people. That's what you have to lose. People are so damn scared to, oh, I'm going to listen to the doctors. Hey, look, doctors are great. They got a purpose. Conventional medicine has a purpose. They don't know shit about Lyme disease. They don't know shit about healing your gut. They don't know shit about the mindset it takes to fucking overcome a disease like that. That's the damn truth. And you can't tell me any different, because I was a woman who was so damn sick. I couldn't function. I couldn't take care of my kids. I could barely bathe my fucking self. I prayed I wouldn't wake up. And I came from almost dying to fucking not just living, but living with my eyes wide open, healing myself 100%. Oh, you're going to take that thyroid medication for the rest of your life. Once you're on it, you can't get off. Well, I did. I healed my gut. And when I healed my gut, I healed my thyroid. Autoimmune disease, my friends, happens when your body turns against you. 80% of your immune system's in your gut. This bullshit about, well, it ran in my family. No, the habits ran in your family. It just because your mom had diabetes or your mom had thyroid problems, it doesn't mean you will. It means maybe do things differently, eat differently. The reason things run in the family is because you all have the same poor, shitty habits. That's why. It's not just, well, I knew I'd get it one day. And it's like people get excited, like, whoo, I got mine at 43. Who gives a shit? Nobody wants to be sick. And if you think I'm, being a little abrasive today, let me tell you something. You walk a mile in my fucking shoes when I was that sick and you come out on the other side, you're not the same person. Lyme disease changed me, and it changed me for the better. And I'm passionate about it because I know what can happen. I know it's possible when someone chooses to believe in themselves. I know it's possible when you just choose to, maybe you can. Maybe you can overcome. Maybe you can win. Maybe you will be chosen. Maybe, right? That's how I reclaimed my life back after Lyme disease, guys. My mindset was never the same. I realized the power of the human body. I realized the power of the mind. I realized the power of food. Food is either your medicine or your poison. Sugar feeds all diseases. With every bite, whether you are sick right now or not, you are either preparing your body to fight against disease, or you're making it a place it wants to live. Oh, that's a little much, don't you think? No, I don't. Do you want to figure it out when you're sick? Maybe not. It is not easy to change habits. As a person who has overcome 3 different types of eating disorders, and a few of them having gone through them a few times, I know how fucking hard it is to break habits. I know how hard it is to change the way you eat. And you change the way you eat, you got to change your lifestyle, and it's a lot. And then you got your family, and you got friends, and you got coworkers, and you got all this peer pressure. And let me tell you something. You're not in elementary school anymore. You're not in junior high. You ain't in high school. So if you're still giving in to peer pressure and you still wonder what everybody else thinks and how it affects them, you need to grow the fuck up. You need to start worrying about what you think. You need to start living a life that you want your kids to see, that you want your kids to mimic. A life where you want to be there to see your fucking kids grow up. You ain't living your life for your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your friends, your partner. You're living it for you. And that's not selfish. When you live your life for you, you are much better to service and help other people. Why do you think when they tell you when you get on the plane, hey, for some reason it goes down, put your mask on first? Because if you're dying and you can't breathe, how the fuck are you going to help someone else? How are you going to save your kids? You're not. Maybe you should be a little bit more selfish. Selfish isn't a bad thing unless you make it that way. I'm not talking about being greedy. I'm not talking about being selfish like no other people exist. I'm meaning you do need to be selfish in the sense of you put yourself first, because when you do, you're then in a place to help others to the best of your ability. You're not living your life for anybody but yourself, and you want your kids to do the same when they're grown up. And when you do that and you model that, your kids see it. So that's something, a mindset that I've obtained from learning through going through adversities, from choosing. The reason I'm a narcissist expert is because I chose to heal from narcissistic abuse after my divorce of 15 years. Getting a divorce and losing my kids half the time, that'll fucking change you. But again, it's not because, well, you were meant to. No, I could be sitting here complaining about it just wasn't fair and I can't believe I got treated that way and I got hurt. The fuck's that going to do? Not a damn thing. I wouldn't, again, you wouldn't even know who I am. I wouldn't have the number one best-selling book. I wouldn't be where I'm at today. It is because I wanted to learn how to deal with a narcissist. I wanted to heal from the heartbreak. I wanted to fucking shatter my limiting beliefs because I was damn tired of fucking living my life the way I'd been living it. It was exhausting. I was ready to be the person I was put on this earth to be. And Lyme disease prepared me for that because that's when I learned the power of the mindset. But man, did I not learn the other half of what I needed to learn. When I chose through free will to not do the victim path after the infidelity and divorce and all that, but when I chose the second path, the path of the unknown, the path where I fucking hoped it was going to lead me down the road to success, and it did. And I'm sitting here saying that to you. I don't make shit up. I don't lie. Don't exaggerate. I definitely don't teach or share advice on anything I haven't personally gone through. And wisdom, I have obtained so much wisdom in life, and it's not with my age. It's not because I'm 43. If I wouldn't have learned from the adversities that had come my way because I chose to learn, I learned from them through free will. If I wouldn't have done that, I would have none of this wisdom, even at 73 years old. Wisdom has nothing to do with age. In fact, it doesn't have a fucking thing to do from the experience within itself. It has to do from you choosing to learn from the experience. Choosing to learn from the experience is how you get wisdom. So a person 30 years older can have no wisdom and you can have a lot. That's because you chose to learn from experiences, right? So this is just a few of the ways where Lyme disease forever changed my life. It was a necessary evil in order to, it prepared me for what was to come, let's see here, 8 years later, right? 7 years later with the infidelity and divorce, because I had been through so much already in life. I'd overcome so much. I learned about the mindset that when all that happened, it was like, no, I'm done. I'm done. I am done living my life in a safety box that I've created or that someone else has created. It's fucking done. And it was all set up in life the way it was supposed to be. It's just up to you, my friends. It's up to you to choose to learn from the pain, from the adversity. And until you do, you're going to keep going through the same kind of experiences. So these are a few ways that Lyme disease changed me. It forever changed my relationship with food and the gut health and supplementation and the power of it. And, there's just so much to share there. And I'm working on a second book that's just about Lyme disease. And I don't know when it's going to come out. I just started it, but there's just so much to share on this topic. And I'm going to always do the very best I can. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. And, subscribe if you haven't. Download on a podcast platform because I need those. Those help me out, help me to grow. And talk to you soon.